So this is my mentor, Meg, and she's going to say a couple.
I'm Meg Heminger, so I am the owner of Fusion Yoga. We now have 2 locations that just opened up. And Campbell was introduced to me by a very close friend of hers, and right away she started coming to class. Her mom and family started coming to class, and it's been a joy to watch her come in and grow and take the techniques that come with yoga and develop what she has developed. You don't have to touch your toes to do yoga. There's all kinds of different forms and avenues, such as breath work, restorative yoga, so really not using any muscle at all, to more aggressive types of physical work. So I'm really excited to see what she's put together, and if you ever want to try yoga, come find us. So thank you.
Okay, so I'm Campbell Twomey. I'm a senior here at Concordia, and I just wanted to introduce myself and just like tell you a few things about me. So, as some of you might know, I am in a couple clubs at Concordia, and that is DECA. I've been part of that for 3 years now. I decided to join my 3rd year, and that's a business club here. I'm in HOSA, which I've been in for 4 years, and that's more the healthcare realm, which Mrs. Councilman is the leader of, and Mrs. Erdos is the leader of DECA. And then I've been in student council for 4 years. I've also played soccer here for 4 years at the varsity level. So I've been in a couple different places at Concordia. And then I'm also part of National Honor Society, which I've been since junior year. And then Honors Academy, which is why I'm here today. So Honors Academy is really the reason why I started this project, and it is the Destress Club. So that is my final club that I have not only joined, but I have created, and so I'm happy to share that with you today. But before I get to that, I wanted to tell you a little bit about myself outside of school, and like kind of my interest, because it will correlate to my project. So junior year, I didn't really know what I wanted to do. I was thinking, let's try business. So I went to the DECA meeting, and I was like, I'm not really so certain I want to do this for the rest of my life. And then I went to the HOSA meeting, and I actually went on a Great Britain science trip. And I was like, wow, I really like medicine. I think that this would be a great path to do. And so this year I actually started working at Lutheran Rehab Hospital, and I'm a nurse tech there. And I really love that job. So this kind of correlates to this project, and you'll see why from my research paper. So why I started this, well, let's start with the introduction to this project. Mrs. Erdos in Honors Academy freshman year told us we have to do a project our senior year. And I was like, okay, great, that's interesting. I wonder what that entails. And she said, make something new and write a research paper about it. And then at the end of your senior year, you're gonna present it at this little meeting. And I was like, okay, it's kind of broad, but I have 4 years to figure it out. I guess I'll come up with something. So at the beginning, I was like, maybe I'll start like a small business, or maybe I'll do a social media page where it's like a social experiment. And so I kind of set those ideas to simmer on the side, and then junior year, I came back and I said, wow, I do not want to do either of those ideas. And I have no idea what I'm gonna do. So my friend Grace Hine, she's on my soccer team with me. She's like, one day she said, you know what, come over to my house. We're gonna do something fun. I said, okay, that sounds fun. And she goes, we're gonna go to yoga. I was like, yoga? That's an odd thing, doesn't sound that fun, but I guess I'll give it a try. And so we went to this yoga class, and what first struck me as odd was I saw an array of people there. I saw a 40-year-old men, I saw 6-year-old women, I saw a 14-year-old girl. And I was like, okay, I guess I'll try this out. And I have never gotten my butt kicked harder in my life. I have never sweat as much. I was like, wow, I am out of shape. And I decided right there and then that I fell in love with yoga. So I started going more and more with my friends, and we'd go every Wednesday night. And I was like, oh my gosh. So that was the where I got. Sorry, forgot about the presentation. But so this is the inspiration. So yeah, yoga kicked my butt, and I fell in love with it. And then I met Meg, who was the first yoga class I ever went to. She was the one that taught it. And not only did I fall in love with yoga itself, I fell in love with the atmosphere there. And I really loved Meg as a teacher. She just was so inspiring, and she just made yoga really fun. And so I decided for my senior project, I was like, oh, I want to do something with yoga. I really like it, and it's really fun. And I wanted to do something at school because I like being involved at school. So I was thinking, how do I mix yoga and school? I got it, yoga club. And so I went to ask administration junior year, hey, is it okay if I would do a yoga club for my senior project? And they said, actually, no, you cannot do a yoga club, because of the more spiritual side of yoga that can be associated with it. So I was like, oh, okay, I guess I'll have to do something else. And then I realized, what do I really love about yoga? And I realized I did not feel stressed at all after yoga. Actually, I felt completely opposite. I was so relaxed, I was smiling more, I was just in a way better mood. And I realized that even if I can't do a yoga club, I can incorporate elements of yoga into a club. So that's when the Destress Club was born. And so what is the Destress Club, you may ask? And it's not Destress Club, which popular, contrary to popular belief, it's the Destress Club. So what we would do there is I brought these coloring books from home, and they were like adult coloring books, and I would bring a speaker in a classroom, and that's all we had. And so I asked Miss Louder if we could use her classroom. She said, sure, you can use my classroom in the mornings. So we would go to her room, and we would just talk and color and just kind of, like chill out with our friends. And then we played this calming music, and then after halfway through the meeting, we would stop coloring, and we would start doing some light yoga. We'd start doing breath work, and which was honestly my favorite part of the yoga. After I would work out for 45 minutes, the last 15 minutes, we'd just do some really light stretching, we'd do some breath work, and I would just really try to connect myself to my body, which was I would breathe in, I would relax the muscles I didn't even know were tense, and I used the moves I learned in yoga class to really help my classmates kind of, if your jaw's tense, just relax. If your fingers are a little tense, then just let them breathe. And so we started doing those meetings with it started out as closer friends, and then it got a little bigger. Not as big as I would have hoped, but I'll tell you why in a second. But we also started getting surprise visits from the comfort dog here at Concordia, Jared. So what's better than music, stretching, breathing, hanging out with your friends, coloring, and a dog? Not much, if you ask me at least. So that's kind of what we would do at Destress Club. And so, yeah. And so some challenges I started facing were the one, I was told yoga couldn't be a club. And two, I didn't know what I wanted to do as a club. And so I got here. And then the third challenge I faced, which is I realized kind of later through the year, was how the heck am I supposed to meet with this club when I have so many other clubs? And I saw that my mornings were really, really booked. So that was my biggest struggle. And if I could go back and do my journey over again, I would probably try to start the Destress Club earlier, and I would try to prioritize the clubs that I liked the most and the ones that I could give more time to and devote myself more to, and prioritize those. Because I do regret that the Destress Club was not able to meet more and as regularly as I would have wanted. And so that was one challenge. Another challenge that I was faced with was the research paper. I was starting to meet with a club. I said, this is great. My honors academy project is well underway. I'm super excited. And then Christmas break happened, and I said, oh shoot, I have an entire 6 to 8 page research paper that I have to write that I completely forgot about. So one thing I noticed about myself this year is that I really like plants. And so I was like, how can I incorporate plants? Because I would love to do research on some plants with the Destress Club. So I decided to write about medicinal herbs and especially about their Destress Club, or not they're de-stressing properties, so like lavender and stuff like that. And so I realized that I really like this, and I ended up spending a lot more time researching this paper than actually writing it because I was so involved, or I just wanted to be more involved in these. I would end up saying, wow, these sources aren't really great for my paper, but I really want to read this 120-page textbook thing that was talking about different types of plants that I had no idea existed and no idea what those plants did. So I just realized that I have a passion for those as well, and I'm thinking about trying to get a botany minor in college, and I would have never discovered this if I did not do this club and go into that avenue. So, other Honors Academy students, this club might open up some new avenues for you. Just keep that in mind. And so, some people ask, like, well, does this club really work, or do you guys just kind of goof around? And we had some trouble with getting the guys in the club to really like let their guard down and actually like not mess around and try the yoga out because it's like girly or whatever. And after we got through that, they actually said, hey, this actually really works. Like throughout the day, I was noticing myself like trying to copy those maneuvers where I would try breath work, or I would try just relaxing muscles I didn't even know were tense. And so Max Park, he's another senior in Honors Academy, and he would come to my clubs, and he said, I asked for some quotes from some of the people that would come to my clubs that I was closer to, and he was the only one that responded. So it was hard to get feedback from our project, but he gave me this book. He said, a good time to reflect and relax. And so then there was another quote, and I don't know, I think it was because there was some other stuff, but he said it was a great time to hang out with friends too. So I think it just shows that joining a club can be about just, it doesn't have to be school related. Yes, you can join DECA and HOSA and you can compete and everything, but joining a club can also be fun. It can just be a great way to de-stress, to have fun with your friends, listen to music, and to just let your worries set aside for a second. You can pet Jared the comfort dog. You can listen to music. You're allowed to lay on the floor and do crazy poses that no one can judge you for. And you can just move the desk aside and you can forget that you're in school for a minute and just really let yourself be in the moment. So, that's the end of my presentation. Does anyone have any questions for me?